Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be talking about order of operations, or also known as Pemdas. And if you haven't watched my first videos yet, I recommend watching them. It just shows an easy way to deal with adding and subtracting negative numbers and making it easier, getting rid of the parentheses and simply knowing how to do it. But this is, like I said, order of operations, and it's the order you do math in. So math isn't like reading where you just start left from right. You have to do them in certain orders. And we use this old formula to help us remember that. And as we all probably heard at least once in our lives, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P is for parentheses, so your example right here, anything inside it you do first. E is for the exponent, so if you get like say e squared or e cubed, you do those next. Then multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Now one thing real quick not to get confused on that I remember I did when I was in pre-algebra is when you get to multiplication, division, and addition and subtraction, when it comes to multiplication and division, you don't always do multiplication first and then do all the divisions. You work left from right. And then after you finish that, then you go on to addition and subtraction. And same with this. When you get into addition and subtraction, you work left from right. And I'll show examples of that as I go on. So I like to draw a bracket in between them to see that. I'll draw a nice one right here. So I always do parentheses first. Anything that's inside parentheses, you do those first. Bring it down to a new one. Then do the exponents. And then when you get into multiplication and division, you work left from right. Then you bring that all down, and then you do addition and subtraction, and again, work left from right. So we'll use this problem as an example. So first I do parentheses first. And so this is one of my parentheses, so I'll bring that down. And so 5 plus 4 is 9. And this is also a parentheses, and so I'll multiply the signs, and that turns into 3 plus 6. And then I bring down these. So now I have some multiplication and division, so I worked left from right. So I can start bringing the 3 down, because I'll be doing that next, plus what all this equals. So 6 times 9 is 54, and so you make sure I get it right. 54 divided by 3 is 18. So all that right there, 6 times 9 divided by 3 is 18, minus 7. And again, we work left from right. So in this case, A does come before S, but even if these were flipped, we would do 3 minus 18 plus 7. You worked left from right. So what this is 3 plus 18 minus 7. So 3 plus 18 is 21, minus 7 is 14. And that's simply how you do that. I'll have a couple more examples and show how to get in a little more detail, a little more complicated ones. Alright, so this is going to be my next example, and it's a pretty easy and simple one. So in this one we have no parentheses, and we have no exponents. So now we go straight to multiplication and division. And all we have is one multiplication. So we just do that one itself and bring everything else down. So we bring down 20 minus 6 times 2 is 12. Then plus 5 minus 4. So now we get into addition and subtraction. And this is again, like I was saying earlier, you don't do all additions first and then subtraction. You work left from right. So we don't start off right away by doing 12 plus 5, bring that down, and then do all of the subtraction. You simply do this whole process in one, left from right, between these two, and same with earlier with multiplication and division. So 20 minus 12 is 8, plus 5 is 13, minus 4 is 9. And it's as simple as that. I'll do one more example. Alright, so now I have one more example, and it gets a little more confusing with multiple parentheses, but overall it's still pretty much the same and easy. So when you get multiple parentheses, you always work on the most inside one, and in this case we have 2 inside ones, and then they're all surrounded by 1. So we work on the insides. So we start with the first one, and we'll leave start the parentheses for the whole thing. We get 18 plus 3 is 21. Minus, now we got inside this parentheses, 16 divided by 8 is 2, and just this whole parentheses has a squared, so now becomes 2 squared times 4 squared. We have that final outside parentheses right in front, so that goes right there. So again, we do inside the parentheses. And now when we have inside the parentheses, we kind of start this whole thing over again. So we don't, inside of this one, we don't see another one. So we start with exponent. So we want to do this exponent first. So we can bring this down again and start it. So 2 squared is 4. We'll bring this down to 4 squared. And again, we do inside the parentheses. So 21 minus 4 is 17. And that gets rid of it. So 17 times 4 squared. Now, so we start again. So now we have a multiplication and exponent. So you always do the exponent first, which now gives us 17 times 16. And that's a big number, so I'll get out my calculator. So now we got 17 times 16 equals 272. And so that's pretty much how you do order of operations. You always do parentheses first, and when you get inside parentheses, you kind of start it all over again, redo it. And once you get all the parentheses, you do the exponents. Then you do multiplication and division by working left from right, even if division comes first, and then multiplication, and then another division. And same with addition and subtraction. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.